Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Christy Quaylar. I work with Scan Health Plan, and today I'm going to be talking about a little bit about Scan Health Plan and how we connect with Choice Medical Group. We're very proud to be connected with Choice Medical Group. As you know, that's your doctor group, and then Scan Health Plan is a Medicare Advantage prescription drug plan. And I work up here locally with Choice Medical Group. We're actually sponsoring the craft events for the next quarter. So happy spring to everybody. I hope you enjoy doing the crafts. We're here to make the lives better of seniors. We're here as a resource. We're here to help you with any questions that you have that come up with prescriptions or out of area stuff, traveling, doctor groups, all of that. And so what I have here today is a little brochure that talks about Scan Health Plan. I hope that most of you know who we are. It stands for SCAN. SCAN stands for Senior Care Action Network, and we're a 4.5-star rated plan. We're here locally, so when you call myself, which I've got my phone number up here, you can call me anytime with any questions that you may have. But we're here locally, and we're here to help you with any questions that you may have. So I hope you enjoy your craft event with Cynda. We all know she's a wonderful lady. And again, I love being a part of Choice Medical Group and working with them to share you as a patient. So have a wonderful time making your craft, and thank you.
Hi, I'm Cynda with Choice Medical Group. We're going to be doing our Senior Kicks crafting class today. We're going to let you know right up front, we're getting very excited. We're going to be doing this in person coming May at our new Senior Kicks Lounge over at 18564 Highway 18. And we're looking forward to everybody being here. But today we're going to be doing our video. This is today's craft. It's kind of a nice, you can either hang this on your front door as a kind of a wreath, or you can stick it in your front yard in a garden space because it does use this little garden item. It's got the stakes, however you'd like to do it, but it's a very pretty thing. We're going to do this for our first craft here in April. This particular craft has been sponsored by SCAN. We very much appreciate the sponsorship that they're doing for our April crafts. And so let's get started. So this little trellis is what we're going to be using here. We'll get started on this corner. I'm just going to tie this yarn to get it started, and we're going to figure out the back side as we go along. And right now I'm going to put a little dab of glue here because I want this to stay in place even though I've tied it. So we'll make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. Just a little dab here and there. Okay. And then I'm going to take this and take it down here and around. And I think, let me see, I think I'm going to go ahead and cut these rather than wrap them back and forth. I think that we will be happier with our project that way. This one here, again, we're going to put a little dab of glue there to keep it over to the side, a little dab here to keep it attached to itself. And I'm going to continue and do that all back and forth. Now, if you were doing this with ribbon, you're going to do it the same way, remembering that every other one on here you want to put on the underside. Let me dab this out of my way. And now I have committed to this being the back side of this particular item, because now all of my tabs are going to be glued to the back. Okay, this one here. Little dab of glue to keep it in place. And you have your choice. This gives you the option if you'd like to place these close together, far apart, absolutely a personal choice. Dab this here, give it a minute, pull this down, get my measurement. Cut my yarn there. And again, remember, we're going to weave back and forth, so I'm going to miss this one this time. We're going to glue it in place. And remember, these glue guns can get hot, so I always have to remind myself of that because I manage to burn myself pretty much every time we do these glue gun items. I think I'm going to go along here, and each one of these I'm going to cut a series of the lengths. Now again, remember, you can use ribbon, you can use yarn, you can use jute. A heavy jute would be really cute. It would make a really nice little basket too. Let's see if we can get this yarn to release itself. Still working with a wrist that gives me a little grief today, so if I do funny things with my hands, bear with me. I think I figured out that there was somewhere between 16 of these that I made when I cut the last ones, because you're going to have at least, I would say, 4 to 5 and maybe even 6 between each of these. So we'll call it 15 to 18 of these strips. And I think I'll go ahead and get some of these done and out of the way. I'm going to lay them out. Down. Now if you notice, I'm kind of gluing the yarn to the metalwork of this little trellis while I'm doing this. Trying to keep my glue on the back side of it. Keep my little tabs here on the back side so that when we do hang this up, you won't notice all of our work on that. Looking forward to being able to do this in person with all of you again. We're going to start also having our exercise classes again. Hopefully we'll be able to get some yoga going and some Tai Chi again, things like that. Very much looking forward to all being able to get out, get back in shape a little bit. We've been sitting around for so long. definitely let you know. Remember, we have a senior hot club, or senior kicks club hotline now. So check your magazines, check on the website here, and you'll see that phone number. Feel free to call me, give me any ideas that you have, ask me any questions that you may have. If you're needing to get information about finding out something about choice, any of those things, you can get a hold of me, and that we're going to get you set in the right direction. Now, one thing I really like about Choice, have enjoyed, is the fact that they have so many opportunities for us seniors to stay healthy, to get information that we need. I think I'm going to, when I pick this up, if you notice, these little pieces of yarn fell away down here, and I don't want that to occur. So I'm going to add a little dab of glue underneath each one to help hold it to my trellis. Set that down on there, and by the time I get around to it, that should have set up enough. Again, we're keeping all of the little tabs to the back side. If you notice something pulling away, go ahead, fix it, tighten it up, put a little more glue. Now, sometimes the glue doesn't really want to hang on to certain fabrics. And in this case, because this yarn is so fuzzy, it's wanting to let go here and there. Add a little more glue, don't worry about it. Now that I know that these last ones down here wanted to pull away, I'm going to add a little extra glue over the top again there. And I'm going to add it to this one here so I don't have to go back and do it again like I did. Okay, let's get that one there. I'm giving it a little tug. Put a little extra glue there. So we're going to do this all the way down. As you probably notice, anytime we're working with paints, glue guns, anything like that, we tend to make a mess. So make sure you've put something underneath, some newspapers, or in this case I had this little plastic cloth covering that I put down. Help keep things tidied up. Get a little glue. Get this one done. I was very excited doing this one. It's turned out so pretty. Now, just because you see that I have done this with these lavender flowers, and I've stuck to kind of a color theme of the light greens, the sage colors, and the lilac and things like that, the lavender. This does not mean that you have to. Now, we have the ability to make these with any colors that we want. So if you decide you have more yellows and oranges in your house, or you have reds and pinks, or you really have a fondness for, say, daisies or anything like that, remember, because this is your choice, you can pick up any flowers that you like, and that make this in the colors that you like. It'll make it far more fun. You'll enjoy putting that together. You'll enjoy being able to display it in the house because it'll match the way you do your house. Let's get some more of this yarn cut. Oop, I had an extra one there, didn't even know it. One of the nice things about all the crafts we do is you can pretty much do a lot of the parts of them and the things and the colors that you like. As you remember, I told you on our last video that I had had some work done on my wrist. I had a little surgery out there, and it makes certain movements difficult right now, and that's okay. As I will tell you always, these crafts are so that we can enjoy doing something together, so that we're not sitting doing nothing. We keep ourselves, our minds stimulated, and we keep active. And so if you're not keeping up with the speed that I'm doing things, don't worry about it. You take your time, because all of these videos, you can stop them in the middle of the video and turn it back on again when you're ready to continue, okay? Just remember that. Let's see, I think I need at least 2. Might even put a third one in there just to give a little space. Notice at the bottom it's more narrow. At the top it's a little wider, so I might fit an extra in there just to help that space. So I'm going to figure I got 5 there. I'm going to put at least 2 more in here. Now if you found that you wanted to do more, you wanted to do yours closer together, do a tighter weave, please do. Remember, Senior Kicks Club is available to keep us all active. So you have a friend that you've been wanting to get active, sit down and do some things with you, or you think that person would enjoy spending some time with us doing these, don't forget to tell them. They can join Senior Kicks Club. I'm more than happy to add them to the mailing list so that they can stay informed also, and so that they can become part of our group and enjoy being with us also. So I'm going to move along, and I'm going to continue down and do each one of the rest of these. Looking forward to some new things here at the Senior Kicks Club. Give me a call. I'm more than happy to tell you about the new items coming up. We're going to be doing membership cards for our Choice Medical members who are also Senior Kicks Club members. So if you know somebody who would like to get involved with that, our Choice members that are Senior Kicks Club people are going to be getting cards that's going to help them get discounts at different places around town, different things that they can get a little senior break on. And if you're like me, those breaks are financially fun. We're going to start doing some drawings for some items. So if you get involved with our crafting and painting and that, you can also start getting involved with our drawings. See if you can get some of your friends out here. We'd sure love to have them join us. So take this time and finish up. And the next step we're going to start after we get done with these up and down pieces is we're going to start doing our horizontal pieces. Okay, so now that we have all of our yarn laid out, everything is all glue gunned in place. Let me flip this over, give you an idea how pretty this is looking from the top side now. I'm going to flip this over, and now I'm going to do the same exact thing with ribbon. I'm going to lace my ribbon in and out here, and I'm going to glue it over at the ends, just like this. So let me take 1 minute here and get this going. And I think because it's just easier when we don't have to try to work with the whole spool, I'm going to cut a piece. And remember your spacing. You don't have to put this tight, but you can if you like. So I'm going to start by going over this first one and under, over, and under. And I'm going to incorporate the pieces of trellis as I go over and under. You see how we're just weaving that through, and I'm not paying particular attention to the fact that I'm down further here, because as I do this, I know that I can move it up. If you have to lift it up and over some of your pieces on the back side here where you've glued, get it lifted up and over. That's just going to be in the beginning while we start. It'll be much easier as we go further down. Over, under. Again, just snug this up to the top. This first piece I'm going to take here, I'm going to glue down this end. I want to get a little bit on the trellis so that it holds it in place. Hold that just like that. Get these weaving down here. Tug them up. Tug it up. We've gotten to the other side here. And I'm going to glue this one down. And I'm going to make sure I've got it again. A little piece of this is glued to the trellis and the ribbon. I'm going to hold both of these ends and make sure they get held in there good and tight. Keep it up near the top. Let's see if I can adjust this on this side so you can see a little better. Keep these ends underneath. I think I'm going to use my little nippers here to help me get in between and tug these up. This one had a little piece of glue there, didn't want to be in the way. We're going to do this all the way across. Down in there, tug it up, tug it up, tug it up, tug it, tuck in your ends. And on this one, I'm going to put a little dab of glue underneath some of these to keep them in place. And go ahead and let's continue this on all the way down. Don't forget, your second row down, you're going to go in opposite of this. So when you go this next time, where I went over this ribbon before, I'm going under it this time. Give you a little. And see, we're going to do just like that all the way across, and we're going to glue it and keep on going. So now we've got our ribbons all the way through, and that glued against the back. Remember, on each one of these, on that ribbon, you want to make sure that you went around outside that last trellis, even if it meant you had to go a little bit underneath your yarn. And when you do, it gives that nice edge all the way down. And so our basket is ready for flowers now. So you're going to pick out flowers that are going to complement, obviously, and that I chose, oops, I chose sage colors, I chose the lavender, and that different ones. So I'm going to stand this up to give you an idea. Stand it up, check out to see how you like it, and then we're going to go ahead and lay it down and start putting and arranging these. We're going to glue them to the back of our trellis on their stems. So let me go ahead and lay this down. And this will give me an idea of where I want these different flowers to go. You can make this as flowery as you want. I want to get an idea of what my flowers are going to look like here. I think I want something in there a little bit darker. Pull this around here and maybe put this dark one there. And that looks good to me. So now I'm going to start putting these in behind. Remember, most of the time on flowers, they do have wires in their stems, so you're going to be able to shape them a little bit when you do get them in. So let's see, my first one here I want is going to be this one. I want to find the fluffiest side I can of it. I'm going to pull it a little bit, maybe bend it so some of these stems drop down in front of my basket. I'm going to move these around a little bit. I think I like the lay of that. I'll move these other two. I'm going to hold that right where I want it and flip it over. And now on this back side here, I'm going to take my glue gun. I'm going to see exactly where I want this, and I'm going to glue it into place. Now I know you see me going over the top. I'm kind of making a little bit of an anchor, helping to hold that down. Down here I'll put some more glue underneath it to help hold it. Some of these can start to pull away fairly easy, so you want to make sure you have a substantial amount of glue to keep them in place. If you decide that you need to put some up here on these upper branches later, you'll know that. We'll figure that out at that point. We'll bend them some more when we get them all laid in place. I'm going to let this set before I turn it over. I'm going to put a little more glue right here. I really want some more. So while that's setting, we'll take a little break and go to the next one. So as this sets up, I'm going to kind of give it a little test here. It looks like that one's doing pretty good. I think I decided I wanted this one next. I like this one. It's a little sweepy. We'll put that down. I'm going to bring it in from the front side. Bring it in back here. And notice I'm not having to weave this in and out. I don't want any of this showing. But I do need to make sure that it comes from the front. So I'm going to flip it over. Verify where I want it. Maybe pull some of these stems a little bit. Just to get an idea. Yep, I think that's about where I want it. I'm going to hold it in place. Flip it over. And now I'm going to glue this item. I think I'm going to push that up and make it a little taller while I'm at it. There we go. Don't be chintzy on the glue. This is going to take some abuse because of the weight of the flowers. We're going to let that one set now. Like I said, I'm going to make sure it sits down inside there long enough for this glue to set up. Nope, not quite ready yet. So that's fairly set up now. I'm going to separate these a little bit. I'm going to put that white in there. I also like this dark, so I want to make sure I get some of that in there. I'm going to put these in both about the same time and space. Find their placing here. Find the placing for this one. I want these bent down a little bit, down in there just a little further. So I'm getting a little bit of the placement here of where I'm going to want them. I want to make sure everything bends and covers the way I want it to. I'm enjoying, I think, the look of that. So now I'm going to hold those in place, flip it over, and glue those. See how these are crossed up? We want to make sure we get plenty on there to hold these down. This side, you can kind of, don't worry about what it's looking like so much, because it's going to be hiding when you put it on the door or put it in your garden. Nobody's going to see this side of it. I think while I'm waiting for this, I'm going to add a little to this over here. I want to make it secure. I'm going to add a little more to this one too. Now, being out in our gardens or hanging on our doors, they might be subjected to being the door banging back and forth or the wind blowing it a little bit. So we want to make sure these are very well secured. So we'll take the time then to let this glue set up before we get to our next project part. So now I have the main flowers glued into place, and this would be absolutely be fine just by itself. I want to add though just a few little pieces of extra flowering down through here to make it more full. So you could do the same thing if you like, and that, like I said, it's perfectly beautiful just this way. But I'm going to add these in here, and then I will glue those on the back side when I think I have enough. So I'm just going to tuck a few singles. What I've done is I've cut these main ones apart a little bit. I'm going to move some of these leaves. One nice thing about these kinds of flowers, you can move these leaves around too a little. Tuck that down in here. I'm going to bend it so that it kind of sticks out a little. And we're going to do this all along here and fill these in, and then I'm going to flip it over and glue these small ones into place also. It's just a matter of finding where do we want these. Bending them forward gives you a more full look. And if you didn't want to add more flowers, you liked what you had, you can always bend these flowers too. They all have a little give to them. And I think this one here is going to just not be in there. So now I'm going to hold this, flip it over, and glue these into place. Okay, finding where each one is, making sure it's approximate to where I had it before I flipped it over. Okay, got my glue. Same thing as before, we want to make sure that these are well seated, well glued. There's one down there. A little bit hard to see amongst all the rest of them. So I had this one and this one, and that one glued down. Holding these in place a little more glue on these. I'll hold that down and let these set up now. Okay, so as you can tell, we've got these all secured. I've waited for my glue to set up. I'm going to give it a flip over and take a look at it. And I think that's exactly what I like. Might bend this one a little more this way so it's kind of centered. And there we have it. So I'm really happy with the way this all came out. Now, as I told you before also, you can make this into a door hanger. And if you want to leave these two little long wires at the end of your basket, you can. If you have some wire cutters or pliers, you have the option of cutting these little things off short so that they're not hanging past your basket. Or you can leave them on and literally just take these two stakes, drive them into the ground, and that's where you're going to be able to have your basket stand up for you. Okay? So hopefully that looks there. Now, one final touch that we're going to make today, and that I'm going to add some bows. Now this, I've got this wire, it's a ribbon that has a wire in it, so you can actually form your bows and give them some dimension. And that, or you can make your bows just by tying a simple piece of your ribbon and putting it on there. That you can combine them. If you would like, you can just take this wired, make it into a ribbon shape, tie the center with a piece of satin. So I think today, let's see, which do I like? I'm going to try to go ahead and tie another bow like this satin one in white. I'm going to nip these ends to give them a not so frayed look, and it gives them a kind of a packaged look. You're going to nip from the center when you fold it over, just nip from the center down to the end, and see what a nice little piece that gives that beautiful ribbon tail. I'm going to do the same on this side. I'm going to nip from the end of the ribbon up into the ribbon. And it gives it that nice little tip. Let me see what we'd make. Take some of this white ribbon here. Now, the satin ribbon, depending on the size you use, you're going to get different shapes of the ribbons. If you use a much heavier, fatter satin ribbon, you're obviously going to have a little more to work with. I'm going to take this white, see if I can just tie this into a nice bow. My fingers are telling me they really don't like making bows today, but I'm not going to give them that option. to tell me I can't make a bow. I'm going to pull that in. I'm going to snug up that center, hold it and pull the ends. I kind of like this one. So I think I'm actually going to stick with my satin bows today. Make sure I'm keeping that tight. It's trying to sneak away. Pull both of those together. Tip this, and now I'm going to tip my ribbon. Again, we're going to cut from the end to the center. And again, from the outside end to the center. It makes that cute little triangle piece. Yes, I think I like that. So today we're going to retire this bow off to the side, and I'm going to glue this one in place. I want it to not come undone, so I'm going to add a little glue inside the edges of it as well as to the back and place it right there where I want that one. Same thing on the white one. Let me make sure I have the ribbon laying the way I want. I want this one to twist around a little bit, show me a little more satin. Put a little glue down inside the bow, over the top. I want that to all stay in place. I want to put it right underneath this other one. Now, if you decide you would like to position your bows and that their tails so that they have some angle, feel free to do it. I'm going to do this one just to give you an idea. Put a little dab of glue here, and then I'm going to set that on it so that it makes that ribbon have a little shape right there. I want that one to stay underneath, so I'm going to put a little dab of glue there. I just want it to stay in that place. I'm going to hold that there for just a minute. And I'm going to do the same on this. I want it to have a little bit of shape to it. Put a little drop of glue there. Pull that up into place. I want to make sure this tail sticks out so you can see it. And there we have it. This is our door wreath, yard ornament, whatever it works best for you. I've sure enjoyed doing this with you. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Looking forward to seeing you in May. And again, thank you, Scan, for sponsoring today's craft.